And welcome everyone to a March Madness offseason chat. I'm Andy Katz, pleased to be joined by Alabama head coach Nate Oats. Nate, you got a taste of the Final Four, and with the roster that you've got coming back, I feel pretty good that you may get another taste of this next year in San Antonio. I will tell you that our new rankings are coming out right after we complete this, and I'm going to have Alabama in the late spring, number one. So I'm putting all that pressure on you.
Yeah,
Um, Listen,
traditionally we perform better when we're
I
out of
know.
the yeah.
Uh, how did you put this roster together and get these guys to also return out of the draft, not transfer in the portal, and not stay in the draft?
Yeah, I mean, got to give a lot of credit to Coach Murphy. Hired Preston Murphy. He's an unbelievable recruiter. So, he's done a great job. I think Final Four run helped. I think there's some guys that feel like there's unfinished business that were on the team last year that want to come back and finish it. Mark Sears being from the state of Alabama, he's super competitive. And he got good feedback from the NBA. Like everybody that I talked to liked him, but he wasn't going to get a guaranteed contract. It would have been a two-way. And I think with the way NIL's working in college, a kid like him's much better off in college than on a two-way. So the way the college basketball rules are now helped us a little bit. And then, I probably a little bit of luck involved, but I think our playing style, kids want to play here, and I think the way you treat them during the year, there's some loyalty to the guys that, you look at the guys that are back, like Reitzel and Grant Nelson and Sears, Jaron Stevenson just decided to come back. Even Mo Diabate certainly could have transferred. I think guys feel like they get better in our program, and I think player development's a big deal in college basketball, and it's a fun style to play too.
Yeah, I mean, look, your good friend Dan Hurley. I mean, it feels like you guys are like UConn in that, everyone likes to be there. They want to play. They work their tail off. They've had a taste of success, and I'm now thinking, even though you went to the Final Four last year, didn't the year before, this feels like a 3-year run, if you will. We haven't had next year yet, but of like high level success, seeds, rankings on the court, everyone all in. So if you can just take me back to like a couple of years ago to what your mission was, where you thought this could be heading into 24, 25.
Yeah, so we've been here 5 years. Our first year wasn't great. We were 1 year over 500, but we got this system established. There's a lot of guys in recruiting say they're going to play a certain way, and then they're like, "Well, we just couldn't play that way because we didn't have the right roster." Well, and then it's year after year where we're going to play. We're going to play like we just played the way we're going to play, even without the right roster in year one. And we finished a game over 500, but then after that we did get the roster a lot more like we wanted. And these last 4 years, we won the SEC regular season and tournament both, and we're a 2 seed and went to Sweet 16. Then we had a solid year but not great. But I think we learned something in that third year. Like, you can't just roll out some talent, you got to guard. Now this year we didn't guard for large parts of the year, but we at least guarded in the NCAA tournament like we need to. Now this coming year, I think it's almost been every other year. We were third best defense in the country, 92nd, third best, 111th. We got to get up, try to be top five, and then also put a top five offense with it. We had the second ranked offense in the country this year. So, I think we put a system in that guys like playing in, that we're comfortable with, that was different than what a lot of teams in our league were. A lot of teams in college basketball, period, were doing. And it's a system. I mean, it's an NBA system. I hired NBA guys. I'm going to have 3 guys that I hired out of the NBA on staff this coming year. We Charlie Henry came out of the NBA, and we when we got here, we put an NBA system in. Coach Panone's done a great job. Guys want to make it to the NBA. We're running, I feel like, a system closer to the NBA than anybody in college basketball's playing, and we're showing you can win with it too. It's not just an NBA system; it's an efficient system. Like, you're trying to play the most efficient basketball you can on both sides. Now, we didn't do it very well on defense this year, but we certainly did it on offense.
So then you go in the portal, And you talk about defense. I do a lot of Big Ten games, and I love Cliff Amore. He's one of the best rim protectors in the country, not just in shot blocking, but coming from that weak side and shot altering because he's back there. And so I think that's going to be an unbelievable addition for you guys. And then Houston Mal from Pepperdine, sort of, I think like, Sears, Ohio, Strata, Hofstra, same kind of, not the highest profile, but a really good talent that maybe people don't know about. Same with Youngblood from South Florida. And obviously everyone knows about Aiden Holloway in the state of Alabama from Auburn. So what were you thinking in each one of those pieces to fill a hole?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, we lost Rylan Griffin, and he was good for us. So we Houston Mallett's kind of that long wing that can really shoot it. I love his attitude. I think he's unbelievable kid. I think he's going to add a lot to the locker room, and I think he can be a great defender. He's been asking for stuff ever since he committed to us, how to get better to play in our system, and a lot of it's been on the defensive side. So that kind of, we've been better when we've had long athletic wings that could, you think back to our first year where Herb Jones, nobody on this team is Herb Jones on defense, and Herb's proven it in the NBA. But, that kind of long, John Petty was a long athletic wing that could shoot, and then you kind of went to where we had Brandon Miller, Amari Burnett, we had some long. So I think he kind of fills that role. Chris Youngblood gives us a little bit stronger physical, kind of can play the two, even a combo, but like we got to get our defense better along with our offense. And he was American Conference co-player of the year along, a lot of people don't realize that, just because they kind of made Florida Atlantic made that Final Four run on John L. Davis is obviously a really good player too, but him and Youngblood were co-players of the year. So, we like the versatility of like big, strong athletic wings. And then we needed some depth in the backcourt, losing Strata. That's kind of where Aiden Holloway came in, and we think he can be really good. And all three of these guys shoot it really well. And obviously you talked about Cliff, like protecting the rim. Like we needed some rim protection a bad way. Last year, defense was really good with Bediako when we were third in the country the year before. So, we feel like he can bring that. And he's worked out. We've had 2 workouts this summer already. I think his offensive skill level is going to be higher in our system. Obviously he played in a different system for Rutgers. I think he's got some stuff that he can do in our system. He hasn't showed that, I was a little bit surprised with even with these first 2 days of workout. So did I miss a transfer? We've got a lot of a roster.
No, I think you got them all. But and also playing for Peichel, who's defense first, hard nosed. He's sort of, still, kind of I think like you in the mindset in there. And then I look at the schedule. We don't know the ACC matchup yet. I'm sure it'll be a good one. We know you're going to go to Purdue to renew that series now in a home and home. I know you can't talk about it, but looks like Illinois and Birmingham. You may have this tournament in Vegas. You got Creighton, we know for sure coming back. That was an unbelievable game last year. And in the SEC, we know you get home and homes for sure, obviously with Auburn and Kentucky. You got to go to Arkansas. They don't come back. You've never shied away from competition. What are your thoughts on so far? What we know is still yet another unbelievable schedule.
Yeah, like you said, we've always tried to schedule number one. I think, I don't know what the stat was. I think we had the toughest strength of schedule maybe in the history of KenPom last year. I something along those lines. It was pretty tough last year. And then I'd like to even schedule a little tougher this year, but Illinois is going to be great. Like you said, I mean, I think that's right down to the finish line. I think maybe I wasn't supposed to talk about it, but I'm comfortable talking about it. They're good. Obviously, I think Creighton's been great. That was a great game at their place. They're always good. McDermott does a great job. The tournament in Vegas is going to have 3 great games. I just like Purdue's, that we had an unbelievable game with them up in Toronto last year. We were up 9 in the second half, but our defense wasn't good enough to close it. So, we'll get them. So I want to play the best teams. Shoot, it goes back to 11 years ago as a high school coach. In high school, everybody got into the state tournament, and you just play the toughest schedule you can to get ready for the state tournament. You go back to Buffalo and, those mid-major leagues, there's one bid. So what difference does it make what your non-conference, who cares? Like you go 500 in non-conference, it doesn't matter. You have to be ready to play in March. And I think playing the toughest schedule gets you ready to play in March. So it's a little different at this level because you're not in a one bid league and you need wins and all this. And I get it with some of the schedule, but I still think the general pretense goes in. You play the toughest schedule you can to get your guys mentally prepared and learn what's wrong with your team to get it fixed in the non-conference, get rolling in conference, and then be playing your best basketball come March, which is what we did this year, which is what we're trying to do every year.
One last thing, Nate. Obviously, you could have gone other places. You've re-upped. You got a great contract there, and you've proven, even though it is Alabama, get to the first Final Four, you can compete and win national championships there. You've got the team potentially to do it. You're going to have, it's just me, whatever. I'm not probably going to be the only one that has you won at one point. What does it tell you about what you can accomplish at a place like Alabama in men's basketball?
Yeah, they hadn't been to a Final Four since we've been here, but the school as a whole, the athletic department, I think there's 6 different sports that won national championships. They support athletics at a high level. Obviously, football's been the best football program in the country for the last 20 years or so, how long Saban's been here, and before that with Bear Bryant, and multiple guys have won national championships. So the resources are here to win. I think you bring a system in that can win, and I'm comfortable here. Like we've built it. We're competing for national championships. We've won SEC championships. I didn't feel there was any reason. There's schools with a lot better tradition, more basketball tradition that maybe you could have looked to go to, but I've got 3 girls. They all love it here. I've built a lot of friends here, and I think we're proving you can win. And I think if you won it all at a place like Alabama, it probably means a little bit more than maybe winning it somewhere where they've got multiple national championships and multiple Final Fours every year. So we're going to try to win it all this year. We're going to try to add another championship caliber program in the athletic department here at Alabama, because there's a lot of them, and we're going to see what we can get done. I think we've got a roster that we're going to compete for national championship this year.
Well, Nate, it's going to be so much fun to follow how this team develops and gets put together over the summer. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate you having me on.